Leroy Williams. Thank you so much for hanging out with us with Dallas Cowboys Scout.
Appreciate
My
you.
man West Coast in this month.
Thank you for watching West Coast.
Shout out West Coast Cowboys. You know it's always love over here. Raider, Cowboy, always a Cowboy.
You did one hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys? Yeah!
What's up with you guys? It is your boy West Coast, and we are live in the building, man. How are you guys doing this great Tuesday? Sorry we got on here a little late today. Had to cuss out Verizon. You guys know how it is. They send you a $1,200 phone bill. I'm like, God dang, I talk to the same people every week, and my phone bill go every month, consistently. Well, one thing I love about Verizon is they are consistent about it, though. So I can't knock them for that, though, because they consistently find a way every single month for my bill to go up. So shout out to Verizon for only doing their job. Hey, but you guys know what it is. It is your boy West Coast. We are live in the building, and I'm trying to figure out a way to get this to look very, very nice. Hold up, here we go. There we go, here we go. Turn it this way, it's too much. Turn it that way, it's too middle. I'm just scoot it closer. What's up with you, man? I forgot I was live for a minute. It is your boy West Coast, and we are live in the building, man. We got a show to do, so let's get to it, man. What's up with your boss, Cowboy? How you doing this morning?
Hey, what's up, West Coast? How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, sir. Hey, man, today is a weird kind of a day, man. It feels like every day we wake up, man. Every day I wake up, I'm scared to go to sleep now, man. Every day I wake up, someone wakes up. I wake up and somebody is out 4 to 6 weeks, man. Every time I wake up, somebody wakes up and someone's out 4 to 6 weeks. So, it was announced this morning that safety Xavier Woods will be out for about 4 to 6 weeks. So I am assuming that his injury is probably the worst out of all the injuries that we have right now, because we also, who did we have go down yesterday? Who did we say went down yesterday? That's going to be out for 2 to 4 weeks. Michael Jeezy Baby is going to be out for 2 to 4 weeks. So I would assume that Antoine Woods is actually listed as day to day, but Xavier Woods is listed as being out for 4 to 6 weeks. Man, this is kind of a blow to the Dallas Cowboys defense. But at the same time, I don't think it's as bad as everybody is going to make it seem like. Why? Because you guys remember, we still have you guys already know, man. You already know we still got the project baby, man, Donovan Wilson, man. And I'm excited to see this young dude play. Why? Because he plays the exact same position as Xavier Woods. So when I was actually saying that I wanted to see Xavier Woods and Donovan Wilson in the backfield, I was actually saying I wanted to see 2 free safeties. Why? Because I just in my heart felt that they would never take Woods off the field. And at the same time, I felt that Donovan Wilson needed to be on the field. So I was like, you know what? Freak it. Just put them both back there. You know what I'm saying? I know it's weird, but let's just figure it out, see if we can do it. But Boss Cowboy, now that Xavier Woods is out and will not be playing for about 4 to 6 weeks, man, what are your thoughts about a Jeff Heath and a Donovan Wilson backfield, man? What are your thoughts on them?
Yeah, it's time to see it, right? So it's one of those things to where obviously one of the biggest talks of preseason was Donovan Wilson, and sometimes fate kind of can deal you a blow to where it's a good blow, where you getting your opportunity but based on somebody else's misfortune. And if you're not able to get under the lights, nobody can make a case for you. So obviously, if I had a trophy for Win the Crowd award, it would go to Donovan Wilson. And we always said, if you win the crowd, you win the what?
You win your job. Actually, you win your freedom.
Yeah, and we got that from the movie Gladiator, where he said the key to your freedom is you got to win, you got to win the crowd. Yeah. And so he's been consistently winning the crowd through preseason, but obviously preseason is not enough, because there was one time where there was somebody else who won the crowd through preseason. It was Dak Prescott, but it wasn't enough. Everybody knew that he had to actually play in games and play perfect to unseat Romo. And I said myself, it wouldn't happen, but it did happen. So, and it's one of those things to where that could be the case with Donovan Wilson, to where he's going to have to go in and show and display that Woods can't get his job back. And that's the job of being in the competition in the NFL, is that sometimes when your guy gets hurt, you got to give him a reason not to be able to get his job back. And it would make sense because he's going to be cheaper.
Yeah, and I mean, you got to say it like this, man. Like, at the end of the day, no matter what the Cowboys say, Donovan Wilson is a free safety. You know what I'm saying? So at some point, you had to have been thinking you were either going to have 2 free safeties in your backfield or you were going to do what? You're going to be replacing Xavier Woods. Like, I know we loved him. I love Xavier Woods too, and I don't want to seem like we just beating on a guy now that he's down. I'm not saying that, but because I ain't gonna lie, you guys know over here I wasn't the biggest supporter of Xavier Woods only because of his angles. And when I saw him practicing at training camp, I even told him, because this is what we do over here in Dallas Cowboys. If we talk, and I ain't gonna say talk crap, but if we talk facts on your name, like if we spit some facts on your name, and then you start improving those things. Because we talk to the nation so many people, when I see you, I'm going to tell you, hey, man, I appreciate you getting better on those things. Why? Because we talked about that stuff on our show. And I told Xavier Woods the exact same thing we told Jeff Heath. And then we told him we appreciate him for getting better. And then he went worse. So I may actually stop doing that. But I will say this. I'm very, very excited to see with a tandem of because it's like this, man. Jeff Heath ain't really going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? The Dallas Cowboys could have gotten rid of Jeff Heath several years, you know what I'm saying? And they're not doing it, you know what I'm saying? So I know I have a guy that literally every single time something happens in the Dallas Cowboys, this guy inboxes me and he says, see there, that's why we need to release Jeff Heath. See, if we release Jeff Heath, we fix it. And he knows exactly who I'm talking about too. Every single time, everything. And we could be talking about Dak Prescott contract, and his first response is going to be, well, see there, West Coast, I told you, that's why you need to release Jeff Heath. So there's some people that just don't like Jeff Heath, but I'm going to be honest with you, man, Jeff Heath ain't going nowhere, man. Jeff Heath is the same guy that takes vacation trips with the offense, and this dude play defense. Jeff Heath ain't playing or going nowhere. So I could easily see the Dallas Cowboys putting both Jeff Heath and Donovan Wilson back there. And to be honest with you, man, I am okay with it, man. I'm okay with it. Allow Donovan Wilson. That's 6 weeks, man. I just say it like this: 6 weeks. In 6 weeks, you're gonna know who's better. And it shouldn't just be like, no, if Donovan Wilson is balling, it shouldn't be like Xavier Woods just comes back and get his job back. It shouldn't be like that. It should be Xavier Woods come back in and work his way back into this rotation. Because 6 weeks is a long time, man. 6 weeks is longer than 4 weeks. 6 weeks is damn near a half of a season. So it's like that's the thing about this. Xavier Woods will technically be out longer than he's played this entire season, because training camp in preseason and between training camp and right now, that's about 6.5 weeks right there within itself. So he's going to be out the same amount of time that he has been in camp. So there's still going to have to be a time where he gets acclimated, get himself back, get them legs and stuff up under him. Because you got to remember, the safety position, that is a read and react position. Like you're 100% reading and reacting. So it takes that time. Those positions like cornerback, that's why you see a guy like Byron Jones. I know I be harping on Byron Jones at times, but that's why you see a guy like Byron Jones still taking his time to get his legs and stuff up under him. Why? Because those are read and react positions. You just don't fall out of that love in the cornerback position, fall out of love in the safety position, and then just fall right back in. It doesn't work that way with those positions. So, I'm excited, to see what Donovan Wilson's going to be able to do. He should get a fair shake at this position. I mean, why else did you draft the young kid for? He's a guy who led all preseason with passing with Lord, I'm all over the place today. He led all of preseason with interceptions, and I know a lot of people want to say, "Oh, well, that's just preseason. Anybody can do it." Well, anybody can't do that in preseason. You know what I'm saying? Because if anybody could have did it in preseason, somebody else would have did it. You know what I'm saying? But I will say this: you got to say it like this. When Donovan Wilson is a 6th round draft pick, so when he was playing in preseason, there was either guys he was playing that were just as good as him, or he was playing against guys who were better than him. You know what I'm saying? So with that, I see it like this, man. The Dallas Cowboys, I don't want to necessarily take that from him, considering that he was playing equal or less talent when he played in the preseason and was still able to get his hands on the ball. So I'm excited to see what's up for these next safeties. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I am not panicking. As much as I do have love for X Wood, I'm not going to panic on this one. Why? Because I definitely think that we have a formidable backup that can be able to step in and give you either the same or better production. What are your thoughts real quick, boss, before we switch to our next one?
Yeah, just real quick. And Darian Thompson is actually who they saying is getting all the starting reps right now. So we just need to keep our eye on that because we really don't know what's going on. It could be that he's still not 100% from his injury, or it could be typical Dallas politics. right? To where they have a favorite and they try to manipulate the crowd by kind of manipulating competition, because everybody is calling for Donovan Wilson, everybody. But if he's ready to go but not go get his chance, they don't want him to go. And that's period, and everybody will say, oh, Marcus or Boss Cowboy, here you go with the conspiracy theory. It's like, well, it's not too far-fetched. All you got to do is kind of look at what they've been saying lately, like stuff like Joe Jackson position flex is the reason why Taco is not active, and look at what's going on with a Wuze and not a Wuze, with Anthony Brown and Lewis. So it's one of those things to where when you're trying to win the crowd, you're kind of going uphill a lot of times, because I heard somebody say it best, I think it was Jaquez, is that we have, in my opinion, and I believe this is true, predetermined rosters. I think
Cole Beasley said that. Remember, Cole Beasley said that.
I don't remember Cole saying that, but I believe.
No, he said management. He said management pick. He said management determines who gets the ball and who's playing.
Yeah, it's a lot that goes on that, I call it Mortimer, where they bet $1 on certain people.
We're back, Mortimer.
I believe this guy, I really believe in Woods, and you're hearing all the Woods, and so they'll kind of manipulate the competition. And and some people say, how can you say that? Because if you look at the offseason, it almost seems certain we was getting the what?
Safety. I mean, even Gil Bryant. I love Gil Bryant and his old line, man. Hey, y'all.
But me and West Coast was the only one saying they not doing it.
They ain't doing it.
Not doing it. Now, I'm talking about with super evidence of safety being priority. They had safety as the most 30 visits, right? Mm-hmm. All the indicators said that they was getting a safety.
And think about this. Every one of our 30 visit safeties was available. And then think about this. Every one of our 30 visit availables, every one of our safeties at our 30 visits was available at 58. Think of that. Yep. Every single one of them. Every single safety that you brought in thinking that you were going to draft was available at 58.
Everyone. Safety was available, not all, but people that was on our 30 was available up to the 4th round.
I know, that's what I'm saying, but I'm just saying, imagine you looking into the draft and you saying, I want this guy, I want these safety, and then you waiting all the way to the 58th pick, and every one of them is there.
Yeah, and it's even better than that, because even the top graded safety was there, Adderley.
Savage, I mean, he said, Jacquez said except for Savage, but we all knew Savage was not going to be available at the first round. I mean, you bring him in.
But he was a first-round pick. That is accurate. I'm not going to fight somebody that corrected me on accuracy. You're right. Savage was the one that got away out of our 30.
But that's what I'm saying. But we all knew Savage had out of our 30 Vicks, he was the only one that we really felt had the chance of going in the first round. So it's
I didn't see Savage going in the first. I thought Adderley was going in the first over Savage. Just me, though. I had Adderley is my top graded safety, and so did most analysts. But I can see why somebody would have took Savage, because he was freakish in the combine.
Exactly. And exactly, that's what I'm saying. That's why I said his athletics is, because sometimes that'll put you, especially the thing about the combine is the combine should not determine what round you're in. The combine is like when you're on the tweener or between going pushed in the first or getting pushed in the second. You have a good combine, it should push you into the late rounds of the first. If you're vacillating between, I don't know if I want to get him in the first or the second, and you have a bad combine, then what's going to happen is you're probably going to get pushed to the beginning of the second round. You know what I'm saying? That's what your first round. Your combine should not be like, oh, he's a 4th round pick. Let me go see what he does in the combine. Oh, snaps. Did you see that shuttle? Put him in the first round. That's where you make a mistake. That's where you get Bobby Carpenter.
And so that's why I'm not surprised that we passed on Minka, right? Because they say that we offered a 2nd or 5th in the taco for Minka. But see, then Steven came out and said, we've reached on first before, and we didn't see anybody out there that's worth a first. It's like, Steven, stop. Look, all of us pretty much had Minka when he was coming out, at least a top 5 grade. He was considered to have slipped the fact that he was picked at 11.
Yeah, but we don't value the safety like that, though. So that's why I already knew the safety.
I think it's more than that. I think it's more than we don't value the safety. I hear your point on that. I think we're protecting Heat. and Woods, our favorites. That's what we do. That was the whole point of us talking about all the safeties we looked at, because that's why I knew I literally bet money and won $150 that Heath was gonna be our starter. And the guys that I bet in the barbershop was like, boy, you crazy. You don't see all these safeties they looking at? I said, bro, you don't know how much they love Heath.
Yeah.
And I said, if it was just based on pure football, y'all right. But you always have to factor in politics with the Dallas Cowboys. If you don't factor in politics in your analysis, you go get it wrong. And that's why they coming out saying stuff like, we didn't think that this obvious top 10 pick was worth the first. It's like, yeah, he might not look as good to Miami, but I guarantee if you put him on this team with this pass rush, once we get Quinn going, and maybe when Gregory come back, oh, yeah, Minka makes the whole difference. So don't sell us like he wasn't worth the first. I ain't hearing it, Steven. Nope.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is this. He's not worth the first pick for y'all because we do not value the corner, the safety position. Like, we were not willing to overpay on Earl Thomas, who I don't think is an overpayment, because he definitely looks like Earl Thomas on the Ravens. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like when if you don't value it, you don't value it. They don't, for personal reasons, we do not value the safety position. We valued it one time, and that's with with Roy Williams. We picked him 8th overall. That was it. That's the only time we valued it. And then think about this. Like, we haven't even, like, sometimes people won't value a position because they maybe have drafted it once and then they got burned on it, right? But we haven't gotten really burned on the safety position. Like, Roy Williams ended up being he was pretty good. Like, he was a 5-time Pro Bowler, 3 times All-Pro, led your team in interceptions as a rookie. So I don't see how you felt that you got burnt on it or why. I mean, it's just you value the fullback position where you signed Jamiz Alawale to a 3-year deal, but then you still out there looking for a safety. I didn't get that, and we barely even used the fullback position. So I just think there are positions in their mind that are just have a more of a hierarchy than other positions. Whether that be right or wrong.
Politics, man. I think it's.
That's the same. It's the same thing. Politics. I mean, the same thing, but
yeah, I just want to be a little bit more specific. You know what I mean? Because, and this is one of the biggest indicators. After everybody was calling for Jeff Heath's heads, because people weren't calling for Woods in this offseason. Who was they calling for? Who did they want out? Why was the main reason why everybody wanted a safety? Because of Heath, right? And you know what the Jones did? You know what the Cowboys did in response to that? Made him a captain.
Well, them captain, the team vote them, so
that's what we do what we want to do, and y'all finna eat this pie. And that's what happened. So, like, when I say, because it's even better safeties that's even in this draft that's coming. Because I already did my research on them. They go pass on them, too.
Yeah, that's why I'm not like, I know Jamal Adams came up. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But, hey, the Cowboys also brought in a couple people that they're going to be looking at as far as workouts. Who were those 3 names that we brought in today as tryouts?
Yeah, and it's pretty good names. They brought in Quincy Adubaji-Yijo. I did my best. Receiver. And they brought in DeMarcus Lodge, and he was actually on my list of what I call DAC-friendly supersized weapons. He was the last one on my list, though. He barely made my cut. Okay, but he was on my list, so I do like this guy, and I've been keeping up with him since he was in Cedar Hill in Dallas, Texas. I know this guy very well. He played with DK Metcalf and AJ Brown at Mississippi. Okay, and then Josh Jones, who is also a freak, like measurable wise, a freak safety, like 4'1", 37-inch vertical, super long broad jump. Excellent tackler, but when I watch him, I'm going to tell you exactly what I see. I'm not going to bullcorn. His measurables are great, but what I see is an upgraded Kayvon Frazier. He kind of stiff in the hips. He could be a solid tackler, but I don't see the fluidity in his hips, just being honest, So I still would consider him an upgrade to what we currently have, or at least equal to Heath. And a better tackler than Heath. I would say that because he's a stud when it comes to tackling. He'll lay the wood on you bad, And then he actually had a couple of breakaway games that I saw with the Packers when I researched him even further. So he's one. But the ones that I'd be actually excited about is DeMarcus Lodge and then Josh. Quincy, he's a bigger receiver, but he was injury prone in Baltimore.
Yeah.
He's fast too. He's real fast, but he was almost like a preseason flash that never got any chance to do it during games. So, and being injury prone, if I just had my picks, I would go with DeMarcus Lodge, because I do know this about DeMarcus Lodge. He's a killer route runner, you know, and he's around 6'3". So he's somebody that I had at the very last, he was my very last, what I called, and I wrote an article about it, DAC-friendly supersized weapons, because I was trying to, in the offseason, find weapons that were big but that were route runners, because route runners actually fit Dak, and this guy does. So there are some opportunities that could actually arise from some of these misfortunate injuries, you know, and I'm seeing it. Like, we could actually end up having upgrades, and here we go again, because I listen to Will McClay. This is what happens, and this is why I say here we go again, to where Will McClay is rescuing what the front office is a lot of times messing up. It's almost like they coming in and messing up what he does, you know. Yeah. But here we go, and he said this. Will McClay said this: we have two boards. We have a board for drafts, up and coming drafts, and we keep updated a board on all available potential free agents. They have two boards and they update it weekly. So once again, once an injury happens or anything happens, they don't catch Will McClay off guard. He said, oh, he hurt? Okay, let's go to our board that we've been keeping up with. And he started picking off what's available that was already graded. And he said they graded and updated every week.
That's good.
But that's why you're getting kind of potential steals like DeMarcus Lodge. I had him on my list, and then safety Josh Jones.
Yeah. Hey, man, and that's very, very true, man. So, I mean, you know, the cool thing I like about these tryouts are these are not guys that the Cowboys just randomly pulled out a hat. These are guys that the Cowboys looked at some point. And also remember this. Remember Ron Marinelli? They were talking about Ron Marinelli when he drafted Tristan Hill. And he was saying that, like, Ron Mary kind of gave us a secret on how he keeps in touch with a lot of these guys. And he said every draft he picks about 7 to 8 guys that he puts them to his, you know, when you a player, you call it your, I ain't going to say that word. You know what
they call it a farm.
There you go. He puts
they call it a farm.
But we call it a Rolodex. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you single, you call it your Holodex. You know the Holodex.
When you single, this is what we call it in Dallas is a stable.
It's a stable? Okay. Well, in Cali, we call it
a stable of horses.
In Cali, we call it your Holodex. You know what I'm saying? You flip through there, see what you're about to get into, what you're not about to. Oh, no, she crazy. Let me pull her out. I thought I told her I was going to pull her out a couple weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? You say in Dallas, they call it your stable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So he keeps a farm. He keeps a farm of potentials that got away, but that still may be available maybe for whatever reason later. And Jahai Ward was one of those guys, because he kept up with Jahai Ward because he coached him in the Senior Bowl, just to kind of give more specifics to your point, West Coast, you know. Yeah. So Jahai Ward was that guy, but Jahai Ward ended up getting away. He didn't make the final roster. You know? But to your point, we do a good job, and people like Rod do a good job of keeping up with people that got away, but they still might want them later.
Yeah, and basically what he does is every draft he keeps up with about a few guys, which is good. And then that's how we're able to, you know, recircle event and go back around and find the Christian Covingtons, find the Antoine Woods. Also, special shout out to my boy Antoine Woods, who will be partying with us this weekend, this Saturday at the Omni Hotel in, what was it, Las Colinas? It's in Las Colinas, right? I be saying Dallas, but it's
the Omni is in downtown Dallas.
Hey, man, I'm from downtown California, so that's why I got...
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's like a benchmark of Dallas now.
Okay, so go ahead and let us know where we going to be this Saturday with Antoine Woods.
We at the Omni, baby. We going to be partying the Omni, man. And all you got to do is go straight down 35. You're going to see a beautiful building that's going to say the Omni. If you can't find it, you just don't need to come to Dallas, because it's just so obvious. Matter of fact, I think they go put on the sign, because they usually kind of change their signage based on who's coming. I thought they put West Coast and Box Cowboy on the signage.
Oh.
With Woods. You know, so it's going down.
So yeah, man, so make sure y'all make sure you guys come out this Saturday, man, at the Omni Mandalay at Mandalay. The tickets are $50, but as long as you use code West Coast 25, that is West Coast 25. I'm gonna put that in the comment box right now. West Coast 25. As long as you use West Coast 25, then you will be able to get $25 off your ticket. So you will literally be able to come see Antoine Woods for $25. So make sure y'all come out and check it. You also get to see your boy West Coast. You get to see your boy, your favorite Cowboy. Hey, you're going to see Boss Cowboy. Promise you, he will have on that hat. That's what it is. He will have on that hat. So it'll be very easy to see him from anywhere in the stadium or at the Mandalay Bay. So make sure y'all come out, man, because we are going to be having ourselves a great, great time this weekend. All right, so also let's talk a little bit while we got Antoine Woods up here a little bit, man. Let's talk about some other guys that are going to be that are possibly available. You heard that Jalen Ramsey is most likely going to be going to, I don't know as of right now. They said the Philadelphia Eagles were interested. They said the Chiefs were also interested in him. But we also have another name that got dropped out there tonight too. That's possibly kind of upset and possibly wants to go somewhere else. And before I say that name, man, I got 43 people in here. It says I only got 16 shares. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I cannot share my own content until tonight. Actually, until like 8:95, 8:45 or something like that. So make sure you guys share. We appreciate you guys. The only reason why you guys aren't seeing it in your feed is because Facebook is tripping right now. But starting tomorrow night, starting tomorrow morning, that'll all be fixed. But until then, man, I really need you guys to share. Share simply means let's Westlow know that you care. So Jaquez, Buddha, E. Kush, Wendy, all my scouts, Joe Trantrina, Jamez, Anthony, I appreciate you guys. Wendy, I appreciate you guys. All you guys. Make sure you guys hit that share button so we can get the content out. Get this content out as quickly as possible. What's up with you, Carrie? Me too. Too much blind, too health. Share. Appreciate you, Matthew. So, yo, man. So, Jalen Ramsey is available, and Jamal Adams seems like he might be available. He went on Twitter this morning and he erased all his New York Jets stuff, and his team is like 0-2. So, he sounded like he might be a little pissed. My mom always says it's better to be pissed than pissed on. But I'm going to tell you guys right now, if Jamal Adams is available, I am cutting ties with what I said about Jalen Ramsey, and I 100% want Jamal Adams. He is the perfect personification of a Cowboy. He is from Dallas, California. He is from Dallas, Texas, like born and raised in Dallas. I mean, Jamal Adams is one of the non-Cowboy players that I've seen a lot. Why? Because he's always in Dallas when he's not in New York. So, good kid, and from what I hear, the city of Dallas absolutely loves him, man. I would 100% try to figure out something to get a Jamal Adams in here. What is your thoughts, Boss Cowboy?
I mean, that's a no-brainer to me as well. Like when it come down between Jamal Adams and Jalen Ramsey, it's not even a thought, right? And more so, not just comparing the players, because you can compare the players, right? You can go back and forth on which one is better, and nobody's going to be right on that. But it's also based on what we talked about yesterday. If we really trying to think like the Cowboys and think like the upgraded Will McClay, you always have to factor in personality into somebody coming into the Dallas Cowboys.
Hell yeah.
So it's, and that's sad, but it's true. So if we go catch up with the times and just really try to keep step with how our front office thinks, then it's going to have to be not just a good player, but the good player with the perfect coachable attitude, the person that's the obvious leader. And there's not one person that would ever watch Jamal Adams break down football and not see a future defensive coordinator.
Bro, he's a future defensive Hall of Famer, bro.
Yeah, and that's in play. I'm talking about in mind. Talking about in his mind. Like, look, I mean, when you watch him break down tape, bro, you are listening to a D coordinator. Yeah. You know what I mean? That guy is smart. Like, and you'll miss it because you'll just get caught up in him playing. But I want people to go listen to his interviews when he's breaking down film. Oh, my God. Like, you gonna be so impressed with his knowledge. The way that he stays a step ahead is his knowledge. So he has obviously the great instincts, but I think his instincts come from anticipation from film.
Yeah, he's Earl Thomas, bro.
Yeah.
He's Earl Thomas, like to the fullest.
Yeah. And so all the things.
He's a reincarnation of Earl Thomas. From Texas, you know what I'm saying? Like everything about him says Earl Thomas. Everything.
Yeah, and potentially better because people got to realize he just started.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a history of injuries. Earl Thomas has a history of injuries.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like Jamal is also a dog too.
Dog.
Everything that we talked about, that guy that would get in your best player's face and just bark and bark and bark, but also back it up.
Yep. And think about this. Think about this, boss. Jamal Adams, the reason why I know that the Jets are going to want the whole house for him is because, man, Jamal Adams is really like the face of their franchise. Like, he's really like the positive face of their franchise. Anything
they gonna try to get 2 firsts for him,
bro. Anything in the last, think about this. Anything in the last 2 years that has been advertised by the Jets has been who? Jamal Adams. You know what I'm saying? It's been him.
The face.
Like, he has been the face of their organization. And to be honest with you, from a defense,
the face of the league.
Like, I mean, and he's been the face of the New York area. You know what I'm saying? Because when you see it, like, everything, because the Giants, man, they've had them nothing but hell come out of there. And it's crazy because, like, if you really look at it, you would have been thinking the Jets were just bums for a long time. But Jamal Adams has been solidified on that defense. Like, he has solidified that defense, man. And one thing who would I give up?
Let's cut to it. What would you give up for him?
Well, Jamal Adams only been in the league 2 years, right?
Right.
That means he has 3 years left on his deal with a 5th-year option.
Right.
This is my thing. I'm giving up I would first off a first-round pick. Like, don't even call me. I wouldn't even call them unless I had a first-round pick. That's a waste of a phone call. You know what I'm saying? But a first-round, for sure this year's first-round draft pick. You want to know why? Because I don't care about it. This year's first-round draft pick, I would basically trade it for almost anything right now. Why? Because I feel that my team is going deep in the playoffs, and I'm not trying to pay the 28th draft pick in the NFL draft. The 29th. I'm not trying to do that. I'd rather just pick a guy in the second round like we did with Tristan Hill. You know what I'm saying?
What if they ask for 2 firsts?
If they ask for 2 firsts, because I can't even extend Jamal right now because he hasn't hit the 3rd year. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm willing to give you a first and a 3rd right now. The 2 firsts, I'm a little nervous on simply because I can't extend him right now.
And we draft so well too.
So that's my only reason why I'm afraid of, like, Khalil Mack.
And I also looked at this safety class, man. This safety class fire.
Yeah, so a first-round draft pick, I'm not tripping because I have no value with this year's. Like, we're gonna have, like, think about this.
But there is value, and we just having a healthy back and forth on this because this is kind of like we pretending like.
But explain to them why I have no value in it though, so they can understand why.
I want to hear because I'm not sure why you don't have no value.
The reason why I don't have no value in the pick is because I believe that the Dallas Cowboys are going to make it at least to the NFC Championship game, and if you make it to the NFC Championship games, that means you're one of the last 4 teams in the NFL. That means at worst, at best, you're going to either be the 32nd pick, the 31st pick, the 30th, or the 29th. At best, you'll be the 29th pick. So my thing is this. Would I give up the 29th pick in this year's draft for Jamal Adams? Absolutely yes. I would give it up for Jalen Ramsey. And to be honest with you, I kind of got to, now that it's happened, I mean, I can kind of digress a little bit off Minka. I probably would give it up for Minka too.
Yeah.
Because you can't not say that you don't value it and then not get, because you're the 29th pick. Minka's 11th. Like, you have to be okay with that.
The top 5 grade.
Yeah,
a no-brainer.
I just know the Cowboys, I'm gonna tell you the reason why I really was like not for Minka. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. It had really nothing to do with his talent. It's just because in my heart I just knew Cowboys weren't gonna do it. The reason being is because, and I know I brought this up, but the situation with his mom, the exact same situation with Jalen Ramsey, and the exact same thing we just talked about, man. Jamal Adams. Like, it made sense why we went after Earl Thomas. You want to know why? Because he's good in the community. He's a great player. He's this. He's that. He has all these great things. Nothing out.
He gave Seattle the bird on the way.
He did, but guess what? We understood why too, though.
And also the fan base was calling for him.
Now think about this: Jamal Adams fits that, bro. Jamal Adams is the personification of a Cowboy guy. He is the personification of a Cowboy guy.
I want to go back to cost. They asked for 2 firsts. What are you going to return your offer with?
I'm going to give you a first and a second from this year.
Okay, I think I will give him a first from this year, a second for next year, Taco, and a 5th from this year. Kind of just go a little bit above the Minka. No, because that's close to what the Minka proposal was. They said the Minka proposal was, except that I added a second rounder to it.
I mean, why not throw Byron Jones? I mean, my thing is throw Byron Jones in there. Why not? Yeah.
No. Not, and the reason why I wouldn't do Byron Jones is because we in win now mode.
Yeah,
I'm
Go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? So in win now mode, it's almost like kind of what we did with Dion in the 90s. We was literally one player away from winning the Super Bowl. We needed to take a corner from San Fran, which upgraded us. And it took even just real bad coaching under Barry Swiss. And I'm not going to call him bad because he's a legendary coach. I'm not going to say bad. But
he's a legendary college coach. He's a legendary college coach.
He wasn't the enforcer that Jimmy Johnson was.
And Troy Aikman hated him for that, too.
Yeah, he hated that. Yeah, he didn't have that good guy, bad cop thing going on that Jimmy and Aikman had. But at the same time, it was just so much talent. It was just so much talent that they was able to ride to another Super Bowl. That's kind of where I see us. It's kind of like this is the time to where we so close. We have so many key pieces in key places. Plus, you got to also look at the fact that one of the biggest and most upcoming teams, New England, has clearly upgraded.
And they're going younger.
Like we knew we needed to make one change to get us over San Fran hump. We need one change to make sure we counter New England. Because to me, at this point, it's not about being the best NFC team.
But beating who you going to play in the Super Bowl.
It's about who, because talent-wise, we have enough talent. Because right now they have us, I think, third in power rankings.
And there's only two AFC, and both teams in front of us are AFC teams. If you ever see the Philadelphia Eagles in front of the Dallas Cowboys, know this, that there's a Philadelphia writer or a guy who wrote that, who in the low is a Dallas Cowboy, who is really a Philadelphia Eagles fan, because there was no way in hell that I used my worst curse word, but there was no way in hell that the Philadelphia Eagles was ranked in front of the Dallas Cowboys after we blew out the Giants and they barely beat the Washington Redskins. No.
Yeah. But even now, they had to give us our props after Washington, because in an okay game, we still dominated them. So that's saying a whole lot about us. Plus, we got a lot of good coming, right? Yeah. With Quinn and all of that kind of stuff. See, people saying, damn, they good and they not even in gear yet. You know, we in second, we ain't hit the third and fourth gear yet of what we can really be. Obviously, offense is clicking, but defense ain't really geared up yet. So once that kind of gear up and we start getting takeaways, oh my God, and everybody can kind of see the writing on the wall. So with that type of writing on the wall, with the potential on this team, plus we having a lot of luck go our way, like with Breeze injured and all that kind of stuff. We have a lot of stuff that's kind of paving our way for almost a clear path to the Super Bowl.
And think about this, boss. It's all happening in the NFC.
In the NFC, exactly. So on a year like this, that's why I said all that to say this. This is the year to get aggressive. And this is why I disagree with the Stephen Jones strategy to where he sometimes get caught up in budgets. I don't want to give up a first. It's like he always building towards the future. Now your bank account big, my man. Yeah. One of the main things you said yesterday.
I knew you were gonna say it, boss. I knew you were gonna say that
because you was preaching, bro.
I love when we on sync, bro.
You had me quiet, bro. For the first time, I was just quiet and listening,
boss,
bro.
I knew you were gonna say it. Go ahead. I knew you were gonna say that.
Preaching. You said something that was. I just pray that people wrote it down and put it on their notes and maybe make a tattoo out of it. You say, why did you make all of these team-friendly deals? Save all of this money to not spend it.
Like you did that for a time like this. And I'm gonna tell you what another thing too. I'm gonna tell you something else too. That getting a guy like a Adams or going after a Ramsey or one of these big names. You know what it also does? It solidifies your plan. Like it solidifies what you see on paper. I see a Super Bowl team. As long as this doesn't happen, as long as that doesn't happen, as long as this person doesn't, you know what? You drop one of those guys on here, that solidifies that. Because guess what? You put a guy who can take balls away, shut ball sides, then guess what? You can be okay. I'm not saying Dak is going to have a bad game, but he can have a normal game. He can have a normal game because why? Because that guy will compensate for those games. And in the playoffs, it's going to take that, man. In the playoffs, there is going to be a defensive. If you're not getting, I'm going to tell you guys right now, if you're not getting turnovers in the playoffs, it is hard to win playoff games. Like, period. If you're not getting turnovers, think about it in that Rams game. What did we need? We needed more time on the clock. We needed more time. We were coming back. We were down by 8, but what did Dak need? He needed more time. And guess what happens? What else? What can you get with more time? How do you get time? By creating turnovers. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to tell you something else that bringing in a big guy like this also does is it turns your Super Bowl into a dynasty. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you really, like, are we trying to be the Philadelphia Eagles so we can win the Super Bowl And then, because I'm gonna tell you guys, like, did you guys notice how fast how they really won the Super Bowl, and it literally looked like 2 months later we were in a training camp because nobody cared. Like, nobody cared. Like, I didn't see no commercials to buy they always have I'm going to Disneyland. Like, nobody cared. It was over so fast. Like, I'm gonna tell you, do we want a Super Bowl to celebrate it for 4 months, 3 months? We want a Super Bowl. Buy the ESPN copy. Buy all these crazy, merchandise. No, we want to win Super Bowls. We want to be in contention. By doing that, man, by putting a guy like that on your team, because think about this, the NFL is built around what? Throwing the ball. So guess what? What are you going to do for these pass-happy teams? We need to be creating teams to beat the Chiefs. Because think about this. The Chiefs got, man, how the hell the Chiefs, why do the Chiefs need Jalen Ramsey? Why are they even talking to Jalen Ramsey? That makes no sense. You got Patrick Mahomes scoring 50 touchdowns. Why do you need Jalen Ramsey?
In win now mode.
But you get what I mean? Why do they need him?
In now mode sometimes, because let's just rewind time. Let's just rewind time, and let's go back to the 90s for 1 second and remember this.
All right. The Jive Turkey, is that too far? I went too far. That's the 70s.
Deion was super expensive.
People $35 million for 2 years.
It was record breaking, but you know who had the balls to do it?
Jerry Jones. $35 million for 2 years.
Bruh. And he looked like Steven and Jerry had a literal fight. I don't mean with fists, but Steven jacked his daddy up against the wall over that acquisition. I'm telling you, sometimes Stephen Jones can get a little bit too budget. He get too budgety. He gets too accounting. He gets too what about the first? What about we're not giving up a first? But look at the player you're picking up. Yeah. You're not wasting the first because look at what you're picking up. You're getting a top 5 pick. If you wanted to go up to get Jamal Adams in the draft, it would have cost you a first and a second.
True.
That's what
was he not a top 10 pick? I thought it was going to cost you more than that.
He was top 5.
Bruh, top 5?
Yes.
Bruh, that's going to cost you more than the first and the second.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, so this is the cost of certain, like, impact 10-year players. Like, he's a 10-year player. He's the type of player that you just basically sit there and say, that's a Hall of Famer, guaranteed.
And and the thing about it is, if you go get a Jamal Adams, you will never, ever in your life draft a safety. You will forever be picking them up on waiver wires and free agency, like random dudes. Like I will rent out because we don't need it. Like if you get Jamal Adams, you could literally go cheap on the other safety. Why? Because he's going to compensate for so much.
Oh man, and so and then like one of the biggest things that you said that I don't want to rush past what you said because it was a big statement that a lot of people can really just look past. You said that this puts us in a position of a dynasty. See. That went over, I guarantee, a lot of people's heads. See, what you got to know is think about all the people we already just signed. Yep. We got Tank for about 5 years. Yep. We got Jalen for about 6 years. We got the whole offensive line.
You got LVE for 3 years. You got the whole offensive line for 4. I mean, think about this.
At worst,
you got Zeke at 4. You got
Zeke got Zeke for more.
Yeah, you got Zeke for 6.
He's an extension.
Yeah, you got Zeke for 6 years.
Yeah. So, I mean, you got so you got the whole offensive line. You got Zeke. You got Tank. You got all your key players, Jalen, your middle linebacker. You, like you said, LVE locked up for 3 just in his normal contract.
Yep, and you can still franchise him, or you can do whatever you want with him.
Right. So you get Jamal and add him to that, man. Like, damn, you got at least 3 shots at this, bruh, with Jamal. You got 3 shots at this, and then you can use your picks to continue to add depth and maybe supplement maybe small holes you might have here and there.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Like, think about this, right? Dak's offense is going to get 30 points on GP. His offense is a 30-point offense.
Yes, a 30-point offense.
If you don't get 30 points, I don't care if we won. We did not have a good game. This is a 30-point offense, right?
Yeah, it's a 30-point offense. So, that's what Will said.
Period. It's a 30-point offense.
Right.
So I'm telling y'all, if we get 29 points and we win 29-21, I'm gonna get on here and say offense didn't have a good game because this is a 30-point. This is a 30-point offense.
There's no easy 30-point.
Easy 30-point offense, right? If you get Jamal Adams on this team, do you know what you do? You take a defense that only allowed 18 points last year and they're only giving up 23 right now, considering the Giants game. You probably take that under 20. So so you know what this will look like. This will look like a 2016 all over again. Like, you guys remember in 2016, those games were fun because we were blowing teams out. There was only one team only one game that when Dak got rolling, where it was kind of like come to the wire, and that was the Minnesota Viking game. Every game other than that we won in 2016, the games were over in the fourth quarter. They were over. Like, they were over. Like, we were beating 10 by 10, 15 points. That is playoff football. You want to know why? Because when you get in playoff football, that margin goes down. You can't be beating teams by 3 points in the regular season and then think you're going to win by 1 in the playoffs. That's not how it works. Even the Saints was beating teams by 25, get to the playoffs, and they win by 6. Because it's different in the playoffs. We need that guaranteed 30. You know what also that Jamal Adams does? He guarantees it, man. If Dak knows, man, Dak already out there throwing bombs. Bro, can you imagine how explosive this offense is when you know you got a guy back there that's going to defend you and probably get the ball back from you? It's a 40-point team, man. It's a 40-point team. Because think about this. Think of the points you're going to score just from them getting the ball back. Like Washington, think about this, Boss Cowboy. Washington doesn't even score if they don't throw that interception. And that's actually our next thing we're about to talk about.
I bet you this, though, before we move on to the next point. I bet you that ball don't hit Jamal Adams in the head like it hit Heat.
Hey, I got that video, too, so we talk about. So, hey, man, we're going to switch off to our third subject of the day. Our third subject of the day, man, is, you know, my boy Dak Prescott, man, should have had a perfect passer rating again. Like, he should have had a perfect passer rating again. But he did not due to an interception. Now, I wanted to kind of look at this interception. I wanted to kind of just kind of look at it for a little bit and kind of like talk about it a little bit, kind of find out what happened on this interception, because my boy Dak is not very accustomed to throwing too many interceptions, and I really want you guys to. A lot of people have actually been putting this on Cobb, but I don't even think it's fair to put this interception on Cobb, man. I think the person that you put this interception on is the initial person, man, and that is a Connor Williams, man. So we're gonna look at this play real quick, man. Tuesday is film day. I'll make sure I have this up too. I'll make sure I have this up on my Instagram so you guys can see this too, but. Man, Connor Williams on this interception. Dak is playing fairly well. It's a 3rd and 1, and Dak is I mean, to be honest with you, if he isn't I honestly believe that Dak could have just ran this ball, but I think there's a part of Dak that wants to stick with the game plan and wants to play the plays in the way that it's designed and called, because he definitely could have ran on this play. He could have just stepped out and just beamed out to the right. But he's still trying to stand in there and deliver the ball. But you can clearly see when the play rolls back up, man, you're going to clearly see Connor Williams gets killed by Daron Payne. Gets absolutely killed by him. And the thing about it is, like, he doesn't even get killed to the point where he throws him on the ground. He just runs right past him. Man, after we saw this play and we looked at this last night, what was kind of your thoughts on this play, Boss Cowboy?
Well, a couple of things. I'm not going to say all of it is on Connor Williams, but you sure right. When you go look at that, he clearly just blew right past Connor Williams.
Up the one right too.
So a lot of people don't have the eyes to see that. You have to watch a lot of film to train your eyes to look at the trenches. So West Coast obviously had his eyes on the trenches to really see what caused it, right? Because then one thing you also see, which a lot of people don't account for, is when pressure is in your face like that, you're not going to have like room to step into your throws.
Yep.
So everybody bragging right now on, Dak, his feet work. It's just so much better than last year. You know what else is better than last year? Protection. You can step into your throws when you got clean pockets.
Yep.
So it's like a lot of people be saying his feet work is better. His protection is better. I guarantee his feet would have looked better last year if he had cleaner pockets.
Yeah.
This is the rest throw. So it's an off-balance throw. So he's trying to make a play is what you're looking at, right? The quarterback is trying to make a play with pressure in his face from somebody that basically he didn't even put a hand on him pretty much, right? He didn't put a hand on him at all. He's trying to make a play. He's throwing off his back foot across his body, all the different no-nos that you're not supposed to do in quarterback, right? Yep. You're not supposed to throw across your body. You're supposed to step into your throw. But when you're trying to make a play and be an athlete, which Dak was doing, we penalizing him for it. That throw was behind him. That throw was bad. Look at that damn throw.
And I'm going to keep it real for all the people. This is actually a good play because you actually have – this is actually a good play call because you have Cobb and you have – I think that's Michael Gallup streaking right across the middle. The problem is You can't throw the ball when someone's in your face. And this is the thing about it is, this is the problem I have with Connor Williams and why they're going to get on Connor because of this play. Bro, there can never be a time when you don't even slow him down. Because this is a first down. Look at, who's that? That's Cooper. That's Cooper that slides right across right there. Yeah. Dak is, and the thing about it is it's a 3rd and 1. So this isn't just, I'm going to just take I'm going to just lay down and take the sack. Yeah. Like, if Dak makes this play if the protection's there. Because look at Cooper. Look at Cooper wide open, but Dak can't see him. Why? Because he's stepping up. That's why he couldn't
to the side.
He stepped to the side.
He slipped that guy, and boys need to see that he slipped him, bro. Like a normal quarterback, that's a sack.
I was going to say that too.
Yeah, the fact he slipped a first rounder, bro. That weigh over 300 pounds. He straight side.
That should have been a sack.
That should have been a sack. And so basically, okay, the throw wasn't perfect. Okay.
How could you make a perfect throw? How do you make a perfect throw right there, though?
I'm just say this. That throw wasn't perfect. I'm going to be all the way 100 on this. That throw wasn't perfect. But there's no quarterback that throws perfect balls every game. Yeah. Sometimes, what did you say about Peyton Manning? When you said one key thing about Peyton
Manning said, Tony Romo said that Peyton Manning told him that it's not your job to throw spirals. It's your job to get the ball to the receiver.
Yeah. So, because, see, you got to understand you're dealing with 2 pros, not 1.
Yep.
Dak is not the person that's supposed to be perfect, and then the receivers can only catch balls when they're perfectly thrown. They don't work like that.
It's 2 professionals on the field.
So sometimes the quarterback is going to throw an imperfect ball, but if it hits the receiver's hands, the fault changes.
Yep.
We've been saying that since I was in middle school. Every coach that I've ever had always preached that they always said this, Marcus, that ball hit your hands. They didn't care if the ball was an inch off the ground. They said, nope, the ball hit your hands. If it hit your hands, it is your fault for that drop.
Yeah, but I ain't gonna lie, man. I didn't play DB all my life. I agree with that, but at the same time, that's not all necessarily true because, man, there are some times where a wide receiver can get a finger on it, but you can't get a grip on it. Like a ball is oblong.
That's why I said hands. See, like if he made it, like I'm not even asking you to make a one-handed catch. See, that's a little bit too much. It hit your hand, so you should have caught it. You should be Odell Beckham. I'm not asking you to be Odell Beckham. What I'm at, if you get your hands on the ball like this, West Coast, you got to bring that in. I don't care if you had to change your body position or whatever. Just period. If it hit your hands, this is how I was trained. Maybe people train different, but how I was trained and how my coaches taught me, if it hit your hands, and I always said it with an S, I didn't change it one time.
Yeah, but I agree with that to a degree.
I would do a weight on it.
Yeah, I agree with it to a degree because it's like you have Dak running this way and you have Cobb running this way. So they're both going against their body. Yeah. While at the same time, and then think about this, to be honest with you, Dak's trying to put it in between the linebacker and the damn safety and that corner that's right there. So not only is he trying to like get the ball out as quickly as possible, he's trying to throw the ball angled so it'll go through a number 55 and that because the linebacker drops right in coverage. Like the only thing that Dak could have probably did in this ball is just run it. Just take off.
Yeah, and then we beating them up over split-second decisions. So this is one of those things to where I'm not beating them up. I'm saying
Connor Williams should have did his damn job.
Saying like it's one of those things to where it's like he had a split-second decision where he could have ran it to get the first. He could have thrown it, which he did, and tried to make a play. That was a hard play by everybody. I say that, and the person that let him down the worst was Connor Williams.
Exactly.
But I'm not gonna beat up Dak for avoiding the sack, making a throw across his body, throwing across his body, right? And then getting the ball at least to where it's catchable and then say, you should have just threw a dime. Come on, bro.
Yeah, I don't think we're not saying that. That's what
saying. No.
That's the whole.
Not saying that.
Yeah, that's the whole.
A whole lot of people out there, including the commentator. The commentator blamed Dak for that play.
Nah,
they said it was behind him. It's like like you can say that in clean pockets, okay? If the pocket clean, sure. But I'm like, I mean, you can go watch any game from any quarterback. You go see Brady throw stuff that's sometimes behind them. You go see Mahomes do it. Every quarterback does it. everyone. And guess what? Every game. That's why I first started with my content saying it's 2 pros. It's not just one. It's 2 people that got hard jobs, and I'm not going to be like your job as the quarterback.
D Hop is also an all-pro.
Every ball, regardless of how you have to contort your body, avoid it. It don't matter how much pressure you got to avoid. You still, when that ball comes out, it has to be you have to be able to basically go place it perfectly where a receiver can make a perfect, easy catch.
This is my thing, right? And I believe there are some receivers in the league that could have made this catch? Yes. Do I believe there's a receiver on our team that could have made this catch? Yes. I mean, I believe Amari Cooper could have made this catch. I do. I believe that. But guess what? Randall Cobb, no. I don't believe he could have made that catch. And he didn't. He couldn't adjust on it. Now, is that on Dak? No, that's not on Dak. Is that on Cobb? Somewhat, because this is sometimes you're gonna have all pro plays like that play Odell Beckham made in Monday Night Football where he catches a slant and houses it 89 yards. Do I think Randall Cobb could have caught that ball and housed it? Nah, I think he could have caught that ball and probably took it 40 yards, because he could have route ran that safety, that corner, and that linebacker that was on his butt. No. Why? Because some players, like, to say that a guy like a D. Hopkins or a Julio can make those plays, they should. They're the top 3 in the NFL. They're top 3 in the NFL. I think everybody did their best. I think everybody on this play did their absolute best. I just think Connor Williams' best is not enough. Think about this. Dak Prescott's best was enough to avoid the sack and get the ball off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, so that's why that's the real reason why I wanted to put this up, because it's like I feel that, like, if you're going to put the shield of doubt on who's at fault for this case, you're going to 100% say the offensive line. Why? Because if Dak Prescott doesn't make that Houdini play, the play is dead. Kyle doesn't even get a chance to put his hands up. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna tell you guys something else, and this is no shade on Tony Romo, but Tony Romo said this: there's only one time he's going down. You know when that is? When there's pressure up the middle.
Yep.
When there's pressure up the middle, you go down. Yep. Why? Because that means a defensive tackle has a clean hit on you. Think about this: when Tony Romo had J.J. Watt in his face, you know what he did? He high-step split in the room and sprint them off of him.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get pressure up the middle, bro, I'm gonna do what you do. You know what you do? You do what Tom Brady does. You fall on the ground.
Yeah, most of his injuries,
you're gonna fall on the ground.
Normal injuries came from pressure right up the middle.
Up the middle, because you're getting hit by a D tackle.
Yeah, the 2 times he hurt his back was coming straight. It was a Philly game, and then it was the Panthers. Straight up the middle.
Straight up the middle. And that's why I wanted to show this, is I'm like, I don't think if you put any. And the only quarterback I think can even avoid a something like this is probably like your Watson, your Dak Prescott, maybe Cam, because he's going to take off. You know what I'm saying?
And I also think,
but Brady's going down
in the pocket too. Aaron has sick pocket presence too. Like, so it's only, like, I agree with you. It's only about 5 quarterbacks.
There you go.
It's about 5 quarterbacks that can avoid that initial upfront pressure
and even get the ball off.
Yeah, like, for real. It's only about 5.
That can get that. Tom Brady, I'm gonna tell you guys. I'm gonna tell you what Tom Brady does.
Everybody else folds.
I'm gonna tell you what Tom Brady does. Tom Brady doesn't even take the sack. You know what he does? He throws the ball in the ground. Yep. He's the only quarterback that takes sacks like that and nobody trips. Yep. Tom Brady just want to throw the ball on the ground.
Yep. You got beaten. Okay, next play.
Next play. Next play.
And you know who else would have did the exact same thing? Peyton Manning. Both the Mannings would have.
Oh yeah, absolutely, like absolutely. And think about this: they wouldn't even have tried to avoid the play.
No,
like they wouldn't even have tried to. Like Dak is thinking it's 3rd and 1. I can't go down. I need to move the ball. Right. And you know what I'm saying? That's why I said the only thing I would have told Dak differently is, bro, next time just run it. We only needed 1 yard. Just run it next time. Just run it. But other than that, but I mean, you can't get mad at somebody for in the moment sprint decisions like. Yeah. Like that's the only thing he could have did.
Especially when the play could have been made.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Michael says toward the end, Romo fell down once they got what exactly, and Romo said that toward the end of Romo's career, if you got that pressure up the middle, he just went down. Tom Brady does it right now. That's how these guys take. Like you think you don't get like it's funny because teams will get sacks on Tom Brady without actually hitting him. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because he'll give himself up. He'll just give himself up. That's what you do when you're 40. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I still want to be patient with Connor Williams. because I think he's growing, right? And I think sometimes you got to expect a little bit of growing.
He is, but he hurt us on that play. That's all I'm saying.
On that play, but the plays after that, well, solid. You know what I mean? So, and then that's going against Payne too. You know what I mean? But like, at least get a hand on him. To your point, it's just that we need to keep our eyes on him to make sure he stay consistent, because Joe Tricina put out something out there like we might need to start pressing if this stuff continues to happen. Is we still got Looney.
Yeah, and also something too I want to see. Also, I want to see Dak in a quick count. Like, let's just get him in a quick count. Let's see what he can do in a quick count. That's what freaking Washington did. That's what freaking Giants did. That's why we're not getting sacks, because they're one stepping and going. Like, I'm not saying a whole entire game, but when you know they're coming, like, why does Dak still have to sit back there and read? Like, Dak, the only quarterback that got to sit back there and read, oh, okay, I see this guy, I see that guy, I see that guy. And also, let's give Dak room to make a mistake. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not hold him to the status of Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying? Let's give him an opportunity to make a mistake. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to tell you, sometimes in your greatest of just some of the greatest plays we ever saw from Tony Romo was him, trying to do exactly this right here. Trying to do this exactly right here. Think about this.
Monster improvising.
Yeah, like doing this exact stuff right here. That's exactly what you love.
Making something out of nothing.
But think about this. The last point I'm gonna make about this play right here is think about this. The Washington Redskins do not score a touchdown if this play doesn't happen. They don't score. They scored off this play. They scored a touchdown on this drive right here. So
drive?
Yeah, that was that. They scored 7 on this drive. They got 7 out of this turnover. So I mean, it's a different game. Think about this. It's a totally different game without that turnover. So I mean, you know, it is what it is. If Dak gonna have his first interception, I'd rather have it like this. I'm gonna tell you guys something else about my quarterback. I always say this: when Dak misses, where does the ball go? In the stands or in the dirt?
And I love it.
The only way you're getting an interception off Dak, just like Seattle, how did Earl Thomas get 2 interceptions off Dak? Because both of them bounced off somebody's hand. One was literally going to the ground. And Earl Thomas in his Hall of Fame, all world self, literally picked the ball off the ground with an inch.
Yeah. So he can catch it with an inch, but our receivers can't.
Yeah, but I'm saying those are the type of interceptions that Dak Prescott gets. It's balls that are either bad tips.
It's data that matches that. It's data that came out that showed that 9 of Dak's career interceptions came off tips.
And that's crazy.
That's a lot of interceptions, bro. That came off other people.
Well, think about this one. Dak would have had a 2 weeks a row of 158. Without that interception, he's at 158.
That's crazy. And
he's probably even higher. You want to know why? Because in the game, theoretically, passing, Washington was probably his best game ever if he doesn't have that interception. Because, bro, he only had 4 incompletions. Like, I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. Like I ain't gonna lie. I did this myself, man. Bro, when you have a quarterback, if Patrick Mahomes has a game where he only throws 4 interceptions, bro, they are putting that all over ESPN. Like, some of this stuff that Dak is doing is just ridiculous, man. 4. And think about this. One of the incompletions was actually caught because it was an interception. So, technically, Dak threw 30 passes and only 3 of them weren't caught. Like, there ain't no receiving core in the NFL that's that good. And if we do, we don't have them. Like, no. That's a Minnesota Vikings stat. When you paying $16 million for one side and $15 for the other side, y'all better catch everything.
And your quarterback got top market rating.
And your quarterback, everybody's paid, so they better catch everything.
And you got a running game.
Bruh, 3 incompletions?
Yeah.
In an NFL game, 3?
Yeah. Yeah. See, Minnesota should...
He has more touchdowns than he has incompletions. Think about that.
Because right now, the leading rushing team right now in the league is Minnesota. They have Cook back, and they have our boys a stay sleeper.
No, I don't want to talk about him.
Madison. Balling, too. Balling, right?
That game is going to be crazy.
Yeah, that's going to be a hard game, man.
That's going to be crazy.
People sleeping on that game, but that Minnesota game, on paper, they built right.
It looks. The only thing, I'm going to tell you guys, the only thing that stops Minnesota is Kirk Cousins. That's it.
Yes, that's it.
That's
it. What your boy say?
Hey, my boy called me the other day. I thought he was calling me to tell because he just had a baby. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking he calling me that we have our, your man-to-man talk. Yeah, man, you're a man now. You're a man now.
You gotta make better decisions.
You gotta make better decisions. You know what I'm saying? Minnesota van calling a Cowboy fan for advice. You know how it is. Just some normal stuff. But he gets on the phone, and Boston's on the other line on my other phone because I got 2 phones. But he called me. He's like, "Yeah, man." It's like, I heard you had your baby. He's like, "Yeah, man, I did. I had my baby, man. Everything's good." I was like, "Her baby healthy?" "Yeah, everything's good, man." I was like, "All right, so what's going on?" Man, it's Kirk Cousins, bro. I started dying. I was like, "Bro, I thought you up here telling to talk about your baby you just had. This is a first-time father too. This is a first-time father." I'm like, "What's going on, bro?"
He just had to call West Coast and tell him, bro.
He's like, "Bro, you was right, bro. It's our quarterback, bro.
It's our quarterback. Everything but the quarterback." Yep.
And that's what he said, man.
Why we mad at Dak? And Dak is 4-0 good versus Kirk.
Yeah.
So anyway.
But hey, man, the last thing we're gonna talk about here is we're gonna talk about Dak Prescott's money for a little bit. Let's talk about his cashola, and the fact that he ain't got none yet. I mean, it's crazy that the Cowboys can talk about trading folks, because when you trade someone, technically you are paying them. You're paying somebody else. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing all the business moves that the Cowboys are down to do before you pay your own quarterback. Like, I'm sorry, man. I've said this a lot of times, but the way the Cowboys are doing Dak Prescott when free agent, I mean, if Dak Prescott when free agency starts, if he was to leave and go to another team, I would not be surprised. Like, and I know some of y'all are like, "Oh my God, West Coast, I can't believe you said that. You are not a Cowboy fan." I am. I'm also a human being, too. And if you make me feel like I'm not appreciated, I won't go live for about 3-4 days. I ain't gonna lie. I'm picky. I'm petty like that. My bad. I'm working on it though. But hopefully Dak is a better person than me, man. But I just feel like, man, if I told you I was hungry, and then you fed everybody in the house but me, and then you talking about feeding little Timmy from down the street, and Timmy got his own damn family, and you still ain't gave me my food, I would just be like, well, man, you know what? I just feel like y'all don't want to feed me. You know what I'm saying? So so my thing is this. So guess what? Dak Prescott about to start, like, what's really happening now, Dak Prescott's going to start going into that mindset where he's actually auditioning for other teams. And if you guys don't believe me, the first team is coming in Dallas this weekend. Who? The Miami Dolphins. Who will need a coach and a quarterback next year. And guess who the Cowboys got? We got both. So, Dallas Cowboys, keep on treating Chris Richard and Dak Prescott and probably even Kellen Moore. I saw a tweet. Somebody finally said it. They said, and it's so funny because I said this in my scout book. I ain't gonna lie, I be getting in my feelings sometimes. I gotta stop that. But I told because they posted, one of my boys, one of my scouts posted something, and it was basically like talking about like the Dallas Cowboys need to stop treating Dak Prescott like he's like an unwanted girl or something at a date. Before we look up and he be gone. And I'm like, it's amazing, like, the stuff, and it's just, they use the same example with Taco, and I'm like, it's amazing the stuff that we talk about 2 weeks later, and because we don't tweet it, it don't get as many likes, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, we've been talking about that for a long time. Like, the Dallas Cowboys, like, Ezekiel Elliott even said that there was a teammate who told him, do not come back unless you have a new deal. And I'm going to be honest with you, why would he mention that if some random guy said it? I think it was Dak Prescott that told him that. And I also believe this, that Dak Prescott knows this, that if y'all don't sign me this year, and the same thing I always tell you about great players, stop. I'm going to tell you why great players stop tripping about their money. You want to know why? Because they know they're going to get paid. You want to know why? The exact same thing with Zeke, because great players know this. There's a bank in every city, and if I'm great here, I'll probably be great somewhere else. So the Dallas Cowboys, you're borderlining on that Tibber where you let this kid play out this entire contract. Do not be surprised if Dak Prescott go taking visits to like Jacksonville, Miami, all these places who have bum quarterbacks, have been dealing with them for a long time, have no face in their franchise, aren't even, think about this, these guys aren't even making money. At least when the Cowboys aren't winning, we at least make money off our jersey sales. These dudes aren't even making money off their jersey sales. Like, that's something that you guys don't think about. You don't think Dak Prescott's going to help that? Dallas Cowboys, keep on treating Dak Prescott like he's this ugly girl that ain't going to have no date at the prom, and you're going to mess around and he's going to show up in a Bentley with his feelings missing. What's up with you, Scout Wendy? JJ just a publicity on mess. Negative publicity is still publicity, and when it does, he pays him more publicity. You know that's right. Boss Cowboy, what are your thoughts, man?
Amen, Wendy, first of all. Amen.
Great. That's a great point. That's why I read it.
Yeah, we should read it slower.
Let me read it one more time. Let me read it. It says Scout. Remember, if you're a Scout, put the hashtag Scout. I got you. She said, JJ likes the publicity of the mess like Zeke. Negative publicity is still publicity. Then when he does pay him, it's more publicity. You can tell Wendy's a freaking Scout, man, because that's exactly how a Scout thinks. That's exactly how a Scout thinks.
Scout, damn it. I mean, put that like you should.
She said it like West Coast was saying, like, yeah.
A T and an I on that. That statement is complete.
Completely true.
So, like, a couple of things. I've been thinking about this for a little while. One thing, when Dak came out with that statement on Sunday saying he wanted to be the highest paid. He don't want to be the highest paid. But then I had to think about that Dak is very calculated and he doesn't do stuff like this just at a whim. This is to me his agent and him basically sending a signal out to Jerry like we're ready to close this out. Let's close this out like gentlemen. So what he's really saying, and you have to understand the contract to see what Dak is really saying, because to me, he's speaking in code. He's saying, I'm not asking to be Russell Wilson, average $35 million a year. Treat me better than Goff. Treat me better than Wentz.
Man, and which I believe is a slap yourself in the face because, bro, you're in the category of Russell Wilson. You're not in the category you're not in the category of
but
Jeff
he's
Goff.
ready to close it out.
I know he's ready to close it out, but I'm saying, bro, don't close it out by saying you ain't what you is.
No, I agree.
Like, no, you don't gotta do. I don't gotta piss on my own self to get new shoes. Yeah, that's like you peeing on your own shoes.
No, West Coast, I'm not fighting you on it. I'm just saying I think that's it. That's the strategy that he's trying to signal out, and he's to me trying to get the public perception back on his side.
But you get what I mean, boss? That's like you saying. That's like you saying I want a pair of new shoes, so I'm gonna piss on my own shoe.
The moment you said it out your mouth, I got it. I promise you. See, because what happened is the Cowboys leaked out a Parsons pill through James Slater. They have the public believing that Dak requested $40 million. It's a lot of people that still believe that lie. See, because the West Coast and I broke down every quarterback, the last 14 contracts.
You can't ask for 40 till next year. Nobody can ask for 40 till next year. I can tell
you pretty much everybody's at least average per year by heart without looking at it, okay? So I'm going to tell you like this. There has been no quarterback in the last 100 years that received a 5-year increase on the average per year.
Nobody. Dak will be the first.
He will be the first. So Dak did not ask for that. The highest hike on average per year
Aaron Rodgers
was Aaron Rodgers. See, that's why West Coast, my boy. We know this. And it was how much West Coast?
You've been beating me in my head.
It was 3.5 million.
Yeah.
It was 3.5 million, and it took it from an average of 16% to 19%.
Which was ridiculous. And the only reason why they did it, I'm going to tell you why, is because look at the situation that the Green Bay is in. If you take Aaron Rodgers off that team, they are a 0-win team. They're barely a 1-win team now.
And on business, he's the only thing that makes them marketable.
Bro, he's the only thing that sells jerseys. Like, what other Packer jersey do you see?
Because it's only one team that's gonna win a Super Bowl, but every team trying to make money.
Exactly, and that's fact. That's a Jerry Jones statement.
Exactly, their most important asset to their financial future is Aaron Rodgers, and what he did is he held them hostage based on knowing his own value to that team. And he said, yes, the MVP at that time was Matt Ryan, and he got $30 million. He said, you know what? I don't give a D. I don't care.
I'm not Matt Ryan. I'm not Matt Ryan.
I'm going to get y'all for 19%. Forget what he did. And he was the MVP. So for anybody that even thinks that Dak asked for $40 million, you just didn't spend enough time on this show.
And think about this. Matt Ryan didn't even counter. Matt Ryan was like, yeah, he tripping. Give me that 30, I'm fine. like Matt Ryan didn't come out and was like, wait, they gave Aaron what? Because it's just like this. The best example of Aaron Rodgers is this, what I always say about the Lakers. The last 2 years of the Lakers having Kobe, it was not about winning a championship. It was about making these payments on the Staples Center. You know what I'm saying? So what did the Lakers do? They gave Kobe Bryant like $25 million for it was like $52 million, so like $26 million per year. for 2 years. And everybody was like, why would you give that to Kobe? You want to know why? Because if you put Kobe on the court, you still have sold out games, which pays more of a bill. You know what I'm saying? The exact same thing that Jerry Jones said, and you just repeated it right now. There are 32 teams there's one team trying to win a Super Bowl, and there's 32 teams trying to be profitable, trying to make money. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that once you get past that point, yeah, we ain't no Super Bowl. We're not going to make no push this year. All right, we still got to sell the stadium out.
Yeah, so we got to have us a franchise quarterback to market and all of that.
Like
kind of
San
stuff.
Francisco. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. San Francisco is a perfect example. So is Detroit. Because all these teams that invested in these quarterbacks, they make those quarterbacks franchise because they're marketable and you can sell hope to your city. That's what it's really about. So the fact that we were split on Dak gave leverage to Jerry, So the good thing about Dak kind of even weight now is now he's starting to finally win the crowd. And his statement he made is to erase the ask and the false leak that came from Dallas saying he wanted 40, because that was to make him look greedy. Yeah, that's what that was about.
Hey, boss, can I go in the future with you real quick?
Yeah.
The Cowboys can't take a chance of franchising Dak either. You want to know why? Because if you franchise Dak, you know what quarterback class he's in now? Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson.
That happens next year.
I know.
You saying if you franchise him now?
You have to franchise him next year. After he plays out this, if you franchise him this year, you put him in that same class.
Put him after that class,
bro. That's the $40 million. One of them dudes is gonna get $40 million.
Yeah, they go jack it up
because think about this. Starting this year, I promise you, this will be the last year you see a quarterback sign for less than $30 million. 30 is the new 20. All the quarterbacks going forward, nobody's getting $20 million.
It's going to be 36, then it's going to be 37. Yeah.
Like 30 is the new 20. Yeah. So when Lamar Jackson, Lamar Jackson, and think about this, he's a guy that represents a whole, they will have no problem paying him. Patrick Mahomes, 2 years in a row, they have no problem doing it to him. No Deshaun Watson's getting paid.
Yeah.
And guess what? There ain't going to be no drama. There ain't going to be no... Guess what? And I'm going to tell you another thing that you're going to notice about these quarterbacks, too, that get paid after Dak. I'm going to tell you something else. They're not going to look at Dak and be like, oh, we should pay you this much, because they're going to pay Watson on their value. So if we believe that you're a top-paid quarterback, we're going to give it to you because we believe in you.
Yeah. You will not see another... Because I already looked at history, and so did West Coast. So I'm going to tell you like this. This is unprecedented what Dallas is doing.
You never do that to your quarterback, bro.
This is a quarterback that's still playing for a contract in a season. It's not.
What if his mental wasn't tough enough? That be the stuff that pisses me off about the Cowboys. Is like, why would you chance that?
Yeah, you playing with the man's psyche. Yeah.
Why would you chance that?
And that's why I said yesterday on the show, name any other team that does business like this with their quarterback.
Bro, ask any quarterback. Ask me the team that made their quarterback play on a 1-year deal. Outside of Washington, and they didn't even make Kirk Cousins play on a 1-year deal. You want to know why? They franchised him 2 years. So he was still one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL. And they didn't believe in him. They didn't believe in him.
Let's go through just a couple of the quarterbacks. Matthew Stafford, he
got paid.
Did this happen to Carr?
No, he got paid.
Did this happen to Garoppolo?
No, it should have happened to Garoppolo because he didn't even have enough games to get paid, but he got paid.
Yeah, so did this happen to Kirk Cousins?
No, they get
bad all the time on Monday night.
Let me tell you, the Washington Redskins did not trust Kirk Cousins, so you know what they did? Instead of giving him a 5-year deal, they gave him a franchise tag for $27 million. And then they gave him a franchise tag the very next year for $32 million. So they ended up paying him $50-something million in 2 years, which was dumb, but they still did it.
Yeah, and they still did it. And that was personal. That's why when he balled out that one game, he said, "You like that? You like that?"
That's what he was talking about.
That's what he was talking about. Like, yeah, y'all doubting me. Yeah.
Because remember, he was going into the Washington Redskins locker room when he said that. That means he was talking to the Washington Redskins media.
Yeah.
He wasn't talking to the Cowboys.
You like that? He
was talking to the Washington Redskins media.
That hating. Exactly. So, but we can go quarterback after quarterback, but that dude franchise.
Did Big Ben
in the offseason? Yeah.
They look about this. They gutted the entire Pittsburgh Steelers team. Gutted them. And you know what they did to the quarterback? hey, quarterback, we're going to pay you. Why? Because we didn't believe in those other guys, but we believe
in you. Hey, and you know what's sad, West Coast? You know, a lot of people don't even know Big Ben just got $34 million. You know,
yeah, because they did it on the low. They didn't even pay
real quiet. They paid Ben this year. Most people don't even know that.
Yeah,
34 for 2 years. People don't even know it.
Yeah,
Ben got 34, and look where he is now. And I'm not even talking about the injury. Ben was stinking it up bad.
Man, and Ben got paid before the draft.
Dak need everything perfect around here. Dak need everything perfect.
So what happened to Big Ben? What happened to Big Ben, though?
Yeah, what happened to Big Ben when y'all took away AB, huh?
What happened to Big Ben when you took away Le'Veon Bell? They didn't make the playoffs last year.
Yeah. Look real different, huh? So
yeah, he made the playoffs last year.
Franchise quarterbacks need weapons too, I guess. Huh, West Coast?
I mean, the real question is, what has Aaron Rodgers did since 2009?
Nothing. Now, he's a great quarterback, but the point is he need weapons too. And if you look at the weapons he had when he won the Super Bowl, oh, please don't go through those.
2009, bro. It's 2019 right now.
10 years. You supposed to be able to put it on your back and take him all the way to the Super Bowl.
How is he the greatest of all time and he ain't been in the Super Bowl in 10 years?
Because he need weapons, West Coast. So these myths that they made up on Dak, like I'm not paying no quarterback because you got to be able to carry me all the way.
Or remember this one. Remember this one.
You're supposed to take the whole team, bad coaching and all, put it all on your back and carry because you can throw.
Hey, boss. Remember this one. Or boss. Remember this.
Somebody that can carry you.
Hey, boss. Remember this one. Hey, I like Dak, but I just want to see him one more year. I just want to see what he can do one more. Hey, I love those guys. I just want to see. I be looking at what are you talking about? One more year. What are you talking about? We don't have another. What I'm gonna
tell you the guys I hate. After he win a Super Bowl, that's when you pay him all that money. Them the guys I hate. When he win us a Super Bowl, then you can pay him whatever you want. You can pay him $80 million a year if you want to. Bro, shut up. Shut up, bro. Like that's somebody that just absolutely just pulled that right out their butt, bro. Because that person never even took not even a wink at the market. Like, and it's insulting when I know my boy West Coast and I have actually looked at the market, like literally analyzed.
You made me do it. I didn't want to do it.
But it don't matter. You look though, like you could have closed your eyes like they do, because it's all on my page. I posted it multiple times. All you got to go do is look.
Multiple shows.
Look, I did the work. I broke it all the way down to you. All you got to do is go just open your eyes. That's all you got to do, West Coast, is just go to my page and do this.
Boss, who's the best? Who would we say who's the arguably best quarterback in the NFL right now? Tom Brady. He has 6 Super Bowls, right? Let's just
Hold on, man. We got to debate that. I'm gonna say Mahomes.
I'm saying okay. I'm gonna need you to slap yourself right now. Okay.
I mean, I'm saying Mahomes. We can debate that, but I'm just telling you right now.
I am
Mahomes
a Christian.
The best quarterback.
I am a Christian. I am not going to debate.
But we can debate that. We can say Brady. That's
all right. Thank you. About to say, man. Okay. All right. So Tom Brady, right? Let's talk about Tom Brady's weapons, right? Let's talk.
Okay. Let's talk about it.
Because let's all those great players who don't need all those great quarterbacks who don't need weapons. All right, let's Tom Brady, and he has 6 of them already. Tom Brady is just playing just because he ain't got nothing to do next week.
Yeah,
like he has nothing to do.
He don't need
like Tom Brady don't need. He like just we don't. Yeah. Okay, so Tom Brady this year he got. I mean, you got yourself, who's probably the number 1 or number 2 quarterback in the NFL, right?
All time.
Then you got a first-round draft pick running back. You do.
Yeah.
And Sony Michel.
Yeah.
You have a guy who's
first rounders for a guy that don't need it.
Yeah. Then you drafted a first-round wide receiver this year in a guy in I can't say his first name. What's
Harry? Just call him Harry.
Harry, out of Arizona. You drafted him in the first round. Yeah. Wide receiver.
His game is just like Dez.
All right. Then on top of that, you made. Did you get a guy named Antonio Brown? Yes, you did. And you gave him a contract worth $15 million for 1 year. Then you gave him an option for year 2. So that means he'll probably be a Patriot 2 years. So then you got AB at your wide receiver.
Oh, don't forget they got less cap space than us too. Don't.
Then on top of AB, let's think about the guys you still got. Do you still got Edelman, the dude that was an MVP in the Super Bowl once?
Oh yeah, he's still on that team. West Coast, you can add him at the MVP. Yes,
got Edelman on there. Then I mean, that looks like a pretty damn. You
forgot Gordon.
I know. I know. I was just talking.
hyperbole.
Then you got the guy Gordon who ain't played in 2 years, but he just scored a touchdown last week.
Yeah, he's still an obvious number one.
Well, okay, so he's an obvious number one. Okay, so what you're saying is that. So are you telling me that the New England Patriots have 3 number 1 wide receivers and Tom Brady?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to make sure I was on the same page with you.
Because a quarterback supposed to be.
Because when you draft a wide receiver in the first, what are you drafting him to be?
Probably the number 1.
I just want to, because you have a 5th-year option on a first-year one. So you're telling me that they not only drafted a wide receiver in the first round, but then they also went after Antonio Brown.
Yeah, because weapons matter. I mean, weapons don't matter.
But weapons don't matter, though.
Excuse me.
And then there's still a chance that they will have Gronk. I still believe Gronkowski is going to come back.
Let's go to Matt Ryan.
Let's do Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan. So Matt Ryan, you got Julio Jones, best receiver in the NFL.
Did he get paid?
He did get paid, 20 banger.
Then
you got his little cousin. Riley Riley.
Oh, was he the top receiver in that draft?
He was pick number 18.
Oh, really?
So you got a wide receiver.
Don't matter though.
And remember, think about this. They went and got Riley Riley in the exact same year that Julio Jones asked for more money. And then they paid Julio Jones. The Cowboys, you know what we would have did? We would have told Julio, suck it. We got this youngster. We don't need to pay you. You know what they said? They said, don't trip. We got you, man.
We got you.
So they got Julio. And then let's not forget about the tight end, Hooper, who leads their team in touchdowns. Who's nice.
Oh, you forgot Sanu.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Sanu, who was actually the second. He wasn't the second receiver, but because him and Marvin Jones because at one point Cincinnati had
AJ Green.
Yeah, think about this. At one point Cincinnati had AJ Green, Marvin Jones, and Sanu. They let Sanu and Marvin Jones walk.
Yeah, and Sanu, if it wouldn't have been for AJ Green, Sanu would have easily been a number 1. And by most grades, him being a free agent when he went to Atlanta, he was considered a number 1. So you basically looking at Atlanta with 3 number 1s as well, West Coast.
Yeah. And then you got a tight end who is I'll put it to you like this: anytime a tight end is on a team with Julio Jones, Ridley Riley, and Mohamed Sanu, and you catch more touchdowns than all 3 of them, you are officially a weapon. I don't care.
And see, we can keep doing this exercise with all the quarterbacks that y'all say.
Can we do one more? Can we do one more for Pat Mahomes?
Well, let's do it. I want to do 3 more. We can keep going on this and showing that every quarterback that y'all say don't need weapons.
You got Tyreek Hill. Yeah. Think about this. You got Tyreek Hill. You got a guy named Sammy Watkins that we were about to give $16 million to. Think about this.
Call him my number 1.
Think about this. We were going to get Sammy Watkins, and he was going to be our number 1 wide receiver who was going to replace Dez Bryant, right, last year. The Chiefs signed him, and he's their number 2 for the same $16 million.
You can actually call him the number 3.
They have Tyreek Hill. They have Sammy Watkins, who we wanted. Who else? Who else they got?
Man, the best tight end in the game.
Travis Kelce.
Yeah, the best tight end in the game. And right now, Sammy Watkins is balling because Tyreek Hill is out. He's injured. But at the same time, it still goes to say that don't even talk about it. Just goes to show that the stuff that we said about Dak is just retarded. Like, we want a quarterback that can carry nobody and put it on their back and just wheel everybody to a Super Bowl.
If he does, he worth $50 million.
But that's not the pattern that's going on around the league.
Yes.
What everybody really is doing is they taking all the quarterbacks that they gave. Oh, because you want to go to Minnesota now?
Man, Minnesota's bums, but we know they got weapons. Kirk Cousins, they got Thielen, they got Diggs. They got Cook. They got Madison. Cousins. Who else I forget? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 right there.
Yeah. And these
are all guys they paid or brought in after they got Kirk Cousins. So these are guys that they brought in for Kirk.
We can look at Wentz. We can go with win. We can just keep going over and over and over that all these people that they call an elite are the same people that have had major weapons invested into them. While Dak is still, we had one injury and everybody saying, oh, we in crisis? Oh, we can go get the 2 ACL knee injury boy, Devin Smith. We're okay. But when we was calling our weapons refurbished, people was looking at us like we was crazy. I said this in the offseason. I still stand on it to this day. Dak has yet to have a new car smell on his weapons, except for Zeke. And I don't even really call Zeke a weapon. You know what I mean? To a quarterback. Now, for scheme, he helps because you have to respect play action when he's in the game. That's true. But at the same time, I mean, it's only Cowboy fans that believe that running backs are the key to good throws. Yeah. It's only Cowboy fans that believe that, because everybody else knows that you have to invest in weapons for your quarterback to throw to, not hand it off to. So it's just some of the theories that came out because of Dak is just crazy and obviously disproven if we just take a look around the league. Now, if we just believe surface stuff that just comes off the TV, then yeah, we'll be the dumb fans. But if we actually just look at the evidence of what people are actually doing with their quarterbacks, like actually giving them weapons, and they giving weapons to the people that they say are the best throwers. That's exactly what we just made the case for. So I'm still waiting on like a major investment on Dak. I'm still waiting on it. You know, so Dak, since he's been in the league, because see, the same people that was calling Dez Bryant declined, but when they want to make a case against Dak, they say, "But look, he had Dez Bryant." Look, you can't have it both ways. You can't call Dez a bust, but then call him a weapon. You can't.
Think about this. Y'all need to stop with the Dez Bryant stuff, because think about this: the Saints were going after a Super Bowl, and they brought Dez in. Yeah. So that has to let you know that this wasn't like some team that was just trying to finish the season. A Super Bowl contender brought Dez in. So on that fact right there should let you know that Dez still had it.
Yeah, yeah. And my point is,
and then you're bringing in this weird name receiver
coming off surgery, right? He wasn't himself. Now he's still good, no doubt. Dez is still good. If Dez is healthy, Dez is still going to be a red zone weapon now.
And he's taking no impact on his body, so the only thing you're worrying about is conditioning, because he ain't been taking no impact on his body.
There is nobody with more balance in the red zone than Dez Bryant in the history of the NFL, period. There's nobody with better body control in the red zone than Dez. Dez made red zone catches look easy, and they was all pretty much very hard. There's nobody that made those crazy diving jump ball catches like Dez Bryant. Nobody jumped over you better than Dez Bryant. Nobody pushed off of you better and cleaner than Dez Bryant. Nobody got 2 feet down and just threw the ball at you like that was easy. Get out of my way, like Dez Bryant, you know? But if you put Dez Bryant with Kellen Moore, even right now, it would be an absolute fool.
Yeah, it'd be fool. Because think about this, Kellen Moore would do, and the thing about it is the exact same thing. The thing that I like about Kellen Moore that shows me that he is a true like kind of like dog in that management is because the utilization of Jason Witten. Like even Jerry Jones didn't know how much he was going to play, and right now, Jason Witten is playing the least amount of time that he's ever played in his career.
Yep.
And it's only because of Kellen Moore. So my thing is like, give Kellen Moore. Why can't Dez do that? Like you in here bringing in any time that you're bringing in wide receivers not known Dez Bryant. I need that axe. Is that guy better than Dez? Because if he's not, then why aren't you giving Dez an opportunity?
Yeah.
And he's available free agent. And guess what? He took a league minimum with the Saints. So I don't want to hear nothing about no money. Yeah. I don't want to hear it. The Saints was going to pay him $800,000. Was going to give him $800,000.
Our pride won't let us do it because we leaked all this stuff about him being a cancer.
We should be able to, because think about this. We didn't do – I love Dez, but we didn't do Dez nearly as bad as we did Zeke. Zeke is by far the worst I've ever seen we've done a player. Like we didn't do Dez as bad as we did Zeke. You know what I'm saying? So if they can just wash it out and make a shirt and say, hey, it never happened, and we can go out there and play, then why can't you do the same with Dez? And to know the truth, Dez was telling the truth. Yeah, like you're not mad at a dude who just lied on the organization. Like Dez was telling the truth on a guy that you ended up firing.
Yeah, he was right. You just didn't like
didn't like how he said it. Yeah. But what was the difference between how Dez said it and how Cole said it though? What was the difference?
Matter of fact, Dez said it way better than Cole. The only thing that Dez put out is he said publicly in a tweet, why did me, Terrence Wimmer, and Cole Beasley numbers all go down at the same time? Our coaches are smart. We're going to figure it out. That was a very PC way of saying we need to make some changes around here. We're too obvious.
Way too obvious.
And he was right. So everybody that's cheering on the changes we seeing now, Dez was already 2 years ahead on that.
Dez and Cole, to be honest with you. Dez and Cole.
And Cole said this, I would say something too, or I would be next.
Hey, he said that in 2018 before the season started.
And guess what? He was right.
He was right.
He was right. So, like, that's why I, to a degree, get him a pass, because it's almost like when you love a woman or you love a man and they real close to making the changes for y'all relationship to work, and then you see them go off with somebody else and then they finally made those changes that you've been wanting to see, it's going to hurt you. And so I'm not ever mad at Dez and Cole for speaking out because they loved us. So I always look at them venting. I look at the root of it, not what they're saying. I look at the root of it. It's pain. You know what I mean? It's like I wanted us to, because see, that's why Dez said, I want us to kick they A. And he was talking about the opposing defenses. Yeah. He was basically saying, we better than this. We are way better talent-wise than what we showing. We just too obvious. Cole Beasley said this when we faced the Chargers in 2017. He said the defense was calling out our route combos. Bro, like, people don't understand how disheartening that is, bro. You going out there thinking you getting ready to surprise this defense, and they say, Cole finna run a slant, Dez finna run a post.
And you still, and think about this, you still got to run the play.
Look at my face, West Coast. Look at my face. Instantly, you feel like this inside.
Hey, and think about this, boss. You still got to run the route.
And you still got to run the route.
Like, you can't change it. You still can't change it.
Right, and then you go to your sideline and say, hey, coach, they know what we're doing. Shut up and get in the huddle. Huh? Coach, they know what we doing. Hey, we still got to execute the play. Bruh.
I mean, Amari Cooper told Dak on that Philly game that, yo, bro, they're sitting on the damn route, man.
Yeah.
He told him, he was like, they're sitting on the route. But Dak, being who he was then at that time, not knowing that he was probably going to be, I mean, by year 3, Dak should have known this was his team. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, Dak being the guy that he was like,
Mr.
you know.
Political. Mr.
Like,
Political.
And I'm going to be honest with you, that is wrong, man. That's absolutely wrong when you have a quarterback that's scared to change a play. And it's obvious.
Yep, because he said it. They was having a debate in the huddle. And see, people don't understand that Dak was successful through dysfunction. And see, people don't get that. They don't get that when he went 7-1, it was the whole time dysfunctional.
Yeah. It
was the whole time the offensive players not liking the play calling. And it wasn't just Cooper. It was Hearns, too. Hearns
said it, too. Remember the first Hearns after his first game? What did Hearns say after his first game? Hearns say, what did he say? He said something basically like, that was the
low play against
that two-man defense. And it was funny because people came back at Hearns and was like, well, why do you say that? And then Hearns was like, well, I just think that anybody should have knew that. Like, everybody should know that. Like, that's what Hearns was saying.
You should know that you don't run that play against 2 men.
And you couldn't get mad at Hearns because Hearns is a soft-spoken guy, and like he wasn't trying to be malicious either. Like, he was just saying it. Like, he just said it. Like,
the guy you should trust because you know when he telling you is true.
Yep.
Because he's an ultimate team guy, right? Yep. And so let me explain 2-man because I play corner and I know exactly what 2-man is. So do West Coast, but I just want to break it down. 2-man is when they playing bump coverage on you, but they have 2 safeties over top, and the design for 2-man is to try to take away everything underneath. So they intentionally play under you. Right? So what we kept running was stop routes.
Which
and
is
he
perfect.
Was saying that's the dumbest thing to do against 2-man coverage because they sitting on everything anyway. That's what he was saying, right? So when you understand what 2-man is, you can understand the common sense of him saying why it was dumb.
Yeah.
You know? And so and then you think about this dysfunction, West Coast, with all of that fire that was going on through the season. Garrett, at the very end of the season, stood up and said, I don't see us making any changes to Scott Linehan.
That's because
one of our boys.
Yeah, because he didn't know he was going to get fired.
But still, like, how do you co-sign this man when there's an obvious fire going on in your locker room? How many people had to speak out for you to not even notice it? That told me, and that's why I wrote that article, that we was tone deaf. Like all of your receivers speaking out on play calling, and you don't see the problem.
Yeah, and think about this: it's the problem to receivers and the bad, the ones that you consider. Because think about this: Cole Beasley was never considered like an issue in the locker room. Never. How did Cole Beasley, going from a guy who was a team favorite, probably more loved than Dez Bryant, not more loved than Dez Bryant, but I think people had an affection for him. You love Dez Bryant because he produced, but I don't think a lot of people actually liked Dez Bryant. You know what I'm saying? But you loved him because he produced. You had no choice. So when Jerry gave you an excuse not to like him, guess what? You took it and you ran with him. I never liked Dez. I have people right now, grown-ass adults, that been say they Cowboy fans for 40 years. I never liked Dez. So what the hell was you doing when he was leading the NFL in touchdown receptions?
Whoa!
What was you doing when Dez was jumping all over folks' head? What was you doing? You weren't throwing up the X one time.
Let me go back to Dak money real quick, bro, because Charlie Rose asked a good question. He said, how much do the Cowboys pay Dak Prescott to keep him when his contract up? That's a very good question. And I'm going to tell you right now, if they want to, and let me before I answer that question, I'm going to tell you the real problem first. And I want y'all to really pay attention. If y'all heard us rant for the whole show and tune us out, this is where I really want you to pay attention. The problem the entire time has been Stephen Jones, because you got to understand what Stephen Jones has been asking Dak to do, and Zeke and Cooper. What he's asking all three of those guys to do is to do what hasn't been done in 100 years of football. You would never see a quarterback with Dak's resume in the history of football take a team-friendly deal with that resume. Never. And the fact that he said publicly, I'm not paying any one of those guys markets, I'm not making any one of those guys market setters, is they showing you who the problem is and who created the impasse we're currently in. Okay? I want to make that clear before I answer that question. Okay? Because the last 10 young franchise quarterbacks all set the market. Every one of them. So you telling Dak to his face in the public, I'm not doing to you what other teams have done with their quarterbacks, even though you're outperforming them. That's number one. So number two, this is what would close the deal more than likely. So out of Dak's own mouth, he said, I'm not asking for Russell Wilson. I want you to pay me more than Wentz. I want you to pay me more than Goff. Okay, go look at what they was paid on the average per year. 32 was Wentz, 33.5 was Goff. He wants more than that. So to close this deal out, you'll more than likely have to throw $34 million at him at the average per year. You definitely got to give him a higher guarantee, because that's what's going to set the market, and he wants that behind his name, as he should. He's earned it. Plus, he always plays. The guarantee on Wentz was 107.9, the total. The total guarantee on Goff was 110. You have to respect Dak by giving him at least 112 total guarantee.
That's why I said 112. That's why everybody. Come on, man. Why you explain that? Because then that's I already explained, because then you just took my thunder. But yes,
they get it.
Now you get why West Coast has been saying 112 this whole time.
You have to make him a market setter, at least in total guarantee.
And that's what they did with Wentz. Wentz got 110. They got 112.
And you can undercut him in the average per Y. That's fine. He don't have to be the highest in that. But you have to make him the highest in total guarantee ever. He's earned it with his durability. He's not back-talked, y'all. He's been the public ambassador, not just to Dallas, but the NFL. All that talking y'all did against him, he has not talked back. He is the only quarterback out of the last 10 young franchise quarterbacks on his last year still playing for his contract. Nobody has been treated like that. So and then he sent the signal saying, let's close this out. He said Sunday, I don't want to be the highest paid. In other words, don't give me what Russell Wilson got on the average per year, but you definitely better give him a better total guarantee. So to answer that question, Charlie, $34 million average per year with 112 guarantee would close this out.
Would close it out. And theoretically, it should close it out, because that is a realistic deal for Dak Prescott. He is better than the quarterbacks that are in his draft class. If I was Dak Prescott, I could understand him saying this whole time I was waiting for Goff, Because guess what? Now Dak, I mean, if you look at his draft class, he's the best quarterback in that draft class. You know what I'm saying? The Dallas Cowboys, you paid the best running back in that draft class. Now do the same thing for the quarterback. Like, you know what I'm saying? Do the same thing for your quarterback. But hey, man, we've been on here going on 2 hours, man. This is a morning show, and we've been banging for a minute. You guys know Tuesday is film day, so we're gonna be back on here at 6 p.m. tonight. Make sure film. We're gonna be looking at the Cowboys versus Washington. We're gonna be looking at the touchdowns and the turnovers one last time. And then after today, you guys already know we'll be on to we'll be on to the Miami Dolphins. Talking about the Miami Dolphins. I'm excited to see them. Also, you guys remember we are coming. I will be in the house. Boss Cowboy's always in the house because he lives in the great state of Texas. But I will be in the house this weekend. I'll actually be getting on my plane this Friday, and I will be going out there to Dallas to see the Dallas Cowboys take on the Miami Dolphins. It's going to be my trip, and all the videos this weekend are going to be sponsored by Cowboys Packages, and I appreciate them. You guys remember I got my big homie, man, the big homie Antoine Woods, shows your boy a whole lot of love. He's going to be stopping by on Saturday at the Omni Hotel in where is it at, Boss Cowboy?
Downtown
Dallas, the Omni Hotel, the Omni Mandalay. Make sure you guys come out and support. We're going to have ourselves a good time. He's going to be there. The tickets are $50, but if you use the code, passcode West Coast 25, they will give you $25. I will pay $25 of your ticket. Don't trip. I got you.
Hey, West Coast, real quick. Can I answer one question real quick from one of the top sides? And I know you was closing out. It's just a good question.
If it's about Dak, I'm going to be upset, but go ahead.
It is.
I already knew it. I knew you ain't going to turn down no question about Dak, but go ahead.
Yeah, but it's a good question. And, it's going to make the scout smarter. Michael said, you think it's true they're haggling on the length of contract? That definitely could be true, and I can see why. And I'm very actually impressed with Dak to not fall for that, because that's one of the ways the Cowboys have been winning and causing their players to be long-term losers, right? Because if you look at Tyron Smith, when he signed his contract, it was the richest contract in history. If you look at what he's worth now, compared
$12 million a year,
slapped all across his lips, nose, and mouth and head, right? That's what those longer duration contracts do. The market goes up on average by 10 million every year. So the value of your contract gets worse and worse every year. So if you sign a longer term contract, yes, you're the highest paid when it happens, but by 3 years into that contract, you're grossly underpaid. 6 years into that contract, you slapping yourself.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you something, boss. That should not be a problem with Dak. You want to know why? Because your mindset should be that I'm going to sign him again when this contract's over.
Yeah.
Like, why? The thing I don't like about Dak is
he's fighting back. I'm impressed that he's fighting back about the six-year duration, because that's actually how they're. Because if you smart, you say this. I want to be able to come back to you in 4 years after the market resets, not 6. You know what I mean? Because if I come back in 4 years, the new market rate will probably be by that time, maybe even 48, 49 million per year.
You know what else is going to happen too, though? And we're going to end it with this. His grandson going to be ready to come in the NFL too. Bro,
True.
I'm going to tell you right now, if you was really treating Dak Prescott like a franchise quarterback, you wouldn't be tripping. You want to know why? A franchise quarterback means he's going to be here 10, 15 years. Like, for some strange reason, I feel like the Dallas Cowboys are treating Dak like Zeke, like the time that they want with him is numbered. Because you shouldn't be tripping. If you think that Dak's going to be your quarterback, I mean, Dak is, 25? This dude will be our quarterback for the next 15 years, theoretically. Yeah. Tom Brady's still playing. But I have a feeling that Jerry wants to sign him just long enough for his grandson. Hey, he mentioned, I know everybody said it was a joke, but I'm going to tell you like this. When Jerry Jones jokes, since he said that he has a right to joke, I take his jokes very, very serious. When Jerry Jones, when they asked Stephen Jones, and that's actually his son, when they asked him, does Paul Jones or whatever his name, does that play in a little bit? He's like, well, yeah,
That's why he needs to sign this friendly deal.
That's why he needs to sign this friendly deal.
Shit.
Like, if you really thought Dak was going to be your quarterback for the next 15, you would have been signing him. Because you would know this is probably the cheapest contract I'll ever sign him to.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing that Dak is doing is he's doing actually what he did against Romo in 2016. he's playing so perfect right now that he's making you have to do it.
Yeah, I just
only
want to.
thing good about all this pressure that the Jones are putting on him, because every time you apply public pressure to Dak, I'm telling you, because now it's a long track record of it. Every time you put that public pressure on Dak, he comes through.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point, you got to change your angle. You need to change your angle and be Dak friend, because public pressure and pissing him off only makes you look bad.
Yeah, man. Well, you guys already know what it is, man. We will be live this weekend at the Omni Hotel with Dallas Cowboys defensive tackle Antoine Woods. So make sure you guys come out. The tickets are $50, but as long as you use code West Coast 25, I will be paying for half your tickets. So don't trip. You know the big homie got you, man. You already know what it is, man. He is Boss Cowboy. I am West Coast Cowboy, man. I got a couple great videos that I'm gonna be dropping today, so make sure you guys see those tomorrow. Also, starting tomorrow, you will see more of my content back on Facebook. Why? Because they took the blinks off your boy, man. They took the blinks off your boy at 8:45 tonight. They're going to take the cuffs off your boy. So you're going to see more comments and more stuff coming up in here. But I just want to let y'all know before we get all these other Cowboy fans, I just want to thank you, got the 30, 40 people that have consistently find our show every single day since they've been hating on us. You guys are true Cowboy fans. You're true scouts. And I just want to let y'all know I love you. Hey, Wendy, I ain't going to lie. I'm a little jealous you put you heart. Love your boss. I mean, Dad, you don't love your boy.
Don't be jealous, man. Don't be jealous, bro. It's just part of it, man.
I can dig
it. It's just part of it, man. Wendy, I love you too, Wendy.
I love her too. That's why I always answer her inbox when she inbox. Man, I can dig it, Wendy.
Man,
it's all good, Wendy.
See, because
we had a special connection.
I gave Wendy a very special shout out.
I give her a talk to every day in my comment. What the hell you mean?
She was fighting hard for you, man.
I don't want to hear. She just three-starred me.
She recognized the love and the individual love that she earned from your boy Boss.
I just got 3 stars, so I ain't trying to hear it. Matter of fact, let me show it to you.
You had to beg for it though, man.
I didn't get on one knee.
I just sat back and got it, bro.
I did not get on one knee. I did not. I had something on the floor.
Much love,
I had to
Whitney.
pick up.
And Whitney, don't start no more fights, okay? Because we both love you, okay? Don't start no more fights on this show. Thank you.
I know. Hey, shout out. Hey, man, y'all already know what it is, man. I appreciate the supporters, man. I appreciate the Cowboy ladies out there who are just not sitting around and just letting the media tell them whatever it is they want to know. I appreciate you guys. I'm going to be honest with you on this side of town. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the scouts, but hey, the lady scouts, they be going hard on this side of town.
Super.
They be going hard.
We got the smartest, most loyal women. I swear, no.
Yeah, they be going hard. They be doing hard. And if you
I catch them on different posts. I catch them all the time. Going hard, and because they know facts, and they independent thinking women. They not the type that's go for anything. Yeah. They if we don't make our case, they go disagree with us. You know what I mean? So it's like you got to earn the women on this show.
Yeah, and I appreciate the ladies, and I appreciate my scouts, serious Cowboy fans out there, Cover Truth. Appreciate you guys. Remember, if you're a scout in the building, make sure you inbox your boy. Let me know you're going to be there. Be in Dallas this weekend. Get you taken care of on your meet and greet. Come out and meet Antoine Woods with your boy West Coast and Boss Cowboy. We will be doing a small show there, so if you want to get involved with that, make sure you come out. And we will be doing some interviews and some stuff, all type of stuff that we're going to be doing. So make sure you guys come out this Saturday. And you guys already know, when I'm in the building with Boss Cowboy, you guys know we do a gang of shows. Why? Because you never know when we might be together, so we just take a full advantage of every opportunity. So make sure this weekend you have your notifications on. Joe Trentina, I appreciate you, man. Much love, Joe. So make sure you guys have your notifications on this weekend, because I will be in Texas. So when I'm out there, you guys know I just be going live. I be going live. You guys already know every night we will end the day at Texas Live. That's one thing that's kind of our tradition we do. No matter what we do, when I'm out there every night, we always end the night doing a show at Texas Live. And literally, I'll just call them and be like, all right, I'm on my way. And we'll meet in our little spot, and we'll just do an end of the day recap. So it has a nice, beautiful background in the back. So make sure you guys have your notifications on. Remember, as of tomorrow, you're going to see more notifications and stuff from Boss Cowboy and from West Coast, because we out of Facebook jail. But we still, we was still up in there banging, though. We didn't care. We was sitting kites. We wasn't supposed to be sharing. We be telling folks, hey, can you share? I'll let you win a book or something. You know what I'm saying? So we would still get it popping, man. You already know what it is, man. We ain't getting no good behavior when we my wife said, so what you about to do now that you have Facebook? You know what I said? I'm about to act a damn fool.
Man,
My
and
boy
we
said-
got the sound.
And the sounds, I'm about to act a fool, man. I might be in jail next week. You never know.
Man, bro, like just hearing you sound so crystal right now. Just
I know
we tripping.
We're trying to find some headphones that'll allow Boss Cowboy to wear the headphones and his hat at the same time, but Amazon can only do so much. They are not Jesus. Amazon is not Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying? They are not perfect. But we're working on it, man. You already know what it is, man. It is your boy West Coast, man. My cowboy cousin, Boss Cowboy, man. We will see y'all this weekend. But before we see you this weekend, we're going to see you tonight at 6 p.m. Don't trip. Don't trip. Never look down because it's